Hey everyone, I'm having my favorite kind of evening. I'm home alone, it's just me and my girl down there and me and my computer, and I am just catching up on all these videos and lessons and learnings that I've been wanting to watch. I had my mum here for a couple of weeks and so I didn't get to any of it. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you a training that I just watched by Raymond Duke, and it's something that we're all doing. We're all posting on social media, we're all writing posts on social media, and some of us may be doing it for others as well. And basically it was a quick talk by Raymond Duke on 7 social media copywriting tips. So I just thought I'd share the 7 social media copywriting tips with you. Now the first one is to use active language. So he actually said use verbs, but you can use verbs and have passive language. So it's to use active language, active verbs. So you want to be using verbs that like grab the reader and engage them. So things like get, take, click, download. So verbs that are telling them what to do. You don't want to be using sort of wishy-washy language. So if you're talking about something about yourself, you might be saying, oh, I was thinking about maybe. That's passive language. You want to be, I'm doing. Okay, so that's the first tip, is use active language verbs, or active language in general. Tip number 2 is to keep it simple. You want to use short words, not big words. We're not trying to prove to people how intelligent we are. We're just trying to catch their attention. So you've probably heard the talks about how when Trump was running for president, they did analysis of his speeches versus his competitive speeches, and his competitive speeches were coming in at like a grade 7 language. His was coming in at like a grade 3 language understanding. So we want to keep things simple as possible so that people don't have to process what we're saying. They just want to get it straight away. So don't use big words, use short words. So words that are only 1 or 2 syllables is the best way to do it. You don't want to drive people away. I know when I'm writing, some of you probably know I'm an author. When I'm writing, I try not to use big words as well, because you bump people out of the experience. If they have to stop and think about what a word means, you might be crafting this fantastic scene and then you chuck a big word in there because you're feeling really smart, and you throw them out of the experience and you lose them, and then put the book away, go to the toilet, and then never come back to it. So you want to keep it simple, short words that are easy to understand. Okay, number 3, use questions to call out your market. So for instance, for one of my businesses, we have a matte stay-on lipstick. Okay, so I might use the question, sick of stay-on lipsticks that dry out your lips, because this matte stay-on lipstick doesn't need a shiny, you know how normally you stay on lipstick, all you guys probably don't know this, but for us girls, if you're using a stay on lipstick, we always have to put a shiny gloss over the top of it, otherwise they just dry your lips out. It's like having the Sahara Desert stuck on your face. So, but one of the businesses I'm working with, we have a matte stay on lipstick that actually moisturizes your lips and still manages to stay on. So I might say, sick of stay on lipsticks that dry out your lips. Or want to stay on lipstick but don't want it glossy, or something like that, to call out my market. And they go, yeah, I do. And then they're going to get in there and they're going to read what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's tip number 3, use questions to call out your market. Tip number 4 is be specific. Okay, you want to be specific about what you're talking about so that you're grabbing them straight away. Okay, so I guess that comes back to like don't be wishy-washy. Be specific about what you're talking about. Tip number 5 is you always want to have a CTA, a call to action, in your post. So you always want to be asking them to do something, even if it's just like the post, comment on the post, share the post, tag the post, enter a competition, come and see you now, ask about the discount. You want to always have a call to action in everything that you're doing, otherwise I'm just going to read it and keep on scrolling. If you need to tell people to do something to make them think about doing it. People don't normally think about something unless you put it in front of them. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. It's the way we work. Especially when we're on social media and there's so much stuff calling us and so much attention grabbing stuff dragging us away from things. You got to put a call of action in them. So if you're active language, you're keeping it simple, you're keeping their attention, using a question to call them out, and then you're giving them a call to action. That's the way to do it. So tip number 6 is to use a proven formula. So there's different proven formulas, copywriting proven formulas that have been shown to work. So he talked about 2, but there's a third one that I have gotten from one of the courses I'm doing on writing emails with an author, Nick Stevenson, who's amazing. So the first proven formula is the PAS formula, which is basically problem, agitate, solution. So you want to talk about what the problem is, then you want to agitate that problem, and then you want to give them the solution. So for instance, if I was talking about my lipsticks, I might say, sick of lipsticks. You want to stay on lipstick, but you're so sick of the way they dry out your lips and make them cracked and dry. So basically, I've talked about what the problem is. I've agitated the problem with, just talking about how they end up with dry, cracked lips. And then I offer them a solution, which would be my product. Or the example that Raymond used was basically, if you're a plumber, you might say, got a leaking sink, it's draining your wallet, call us now. So basically the problem is the leaking sink, the fact that they're wasting money on water, and then call them now. So call to action. So quite often the solution is the call to action as well. So that's one proven formula, the PAS, problem, agitate, solution. Now a second one, which you've probably heard of, this is the one that is most commonly talked about, is AIDA. So it's attention, interest, desire, action. So you want to grab their attention, like hook them in, and then you get their interest, and then you create a desire, and then you give them a call to action at the end. So the example Raymond used was basically, I think he was talking about a laundromat. So he's got dirty clothing. So that would be the attention. Come wash them here. The interest from, okay, I could wash them there. Desire would be free coffee and free Wi-Fi while you wash, and then the call to action is come wash them now. So those four things. And I know when we're thinking about copywriting, we're thinking of some magical, mystical writing, which is difficult. And I guess it's probably the most difficult thing about copywriting. It's actually quite simple. I kind of get a head around that it's really just laser beaming into someone's brain with what their problem is, what their concern is, agitating it, and then giving them a solution. So, I mean, obviously that's where marketing comes in, where you need to target your copywriting, find that market, work out where your avatar is, what their problem is, do your research, right? Then once you know who your avatar is, you need to then be writing for them. So it's probably not the copywriting that's the hardest part. It's probably the working out who your avatar is and what their problems are and what their desires are. And then once you've got that nailed down, the copywriting, once you understand, like just following these 7 tips, it's actually been quite simple. Okay, you follow these formulas, you keep it simple. And as I said, I used to think it was something quite magical and hard, but it's actually not. Copywriting is not hard. It is something obviously we get better at with time, and you can split test different copywriting things against each other. I mean, ads and stuff like that, and see which headlines work better. So your headlines, you hook. Then see, then you might change the next part, the desire, the interest, the call to action, the way you call to action. You can split test different ads, and different markets will respond to different things. Different age groups will respond to different things, and that's where the split testing comes in with your copywriting. Okay, so the next proven formula, which I got from Nick Stevenson, is the NESS formula, which is nurture, excite, and then sell. So basically you're nurturing a relationship with them, then you're exciting with them something, and then you're selling to them. So you can use that within the AIDA formulas and the problem agitate solution formulas. You can kind of use your NESS within there. So the 7th and the final tip for copywriting for social media is just to be relevant. Okay, so you want it to be relevant to your audience, to who you're putting it in front of, and obviously relevant to your own product and your own offer. Okay, so just really quickly, number 1 was use active language, verbs like get, take, click, download, things like that. Number 2, keep it simple, use short words, small words, not hard, difficult words to understand. Number 3 is use questions to call out your market. Number 4, be specific, be detailed. Number 5 is always have a call to action. Number 6 is use those proven formulas, so either the PAS, the problem, agitate, and the solution, or the AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. Use those proven formulas. And number 7 is to be relevant. Okay, so I hope you got something out of that and that you guys are having a wonderful weekend.